Hey guys, this is a quick and easy guide to SEO. So very quickly, what is SEO? It is search engine optimization. It's your ability to get found on search engines like Google. And basically the way that this happens is the search engines have a thing called a crawler, which is like a little creature that goes into your website and it looks at everything and basically puts it all together and says, hey, this is what this company is about. So optimizing your website in the right way will make sure that you can get people finding you for the things that you actually do. Let's say you're an accountant, you work with taxes, you want information about the different services that you provide. If you're a restaurant and you provide certain types of food, you can have information on all of the different types of food. But the most important thing is to have a strong homepage, and when it comes down to it, I like to have at least 2,000, maybe 3,000 words on the homepage at least. So when it comes down to your homepage, I try and keep images relatively minimum. So I use a lot less images than other people, because although you can make your homepage look really fast, really snazzy, it's not going to load quickly, and you want it to load quickly because that is one of the important metrics in terms of getting your website to rank. So I try and keep my pictures down to a minimum. You can have a couple at the top of the website. Like the first screen when you're scrolling down is where people are going to look, because they're going to go to other parts of your website if they're actually interested in your services. So everything that's after that, you don't really need to focus that much on images for. And the more images you've got, the slower your page is going to load. So when it comes down to it, how can you increase your SEO over time? Very easy. There are two different ways that I use to do it, and both of them involve blogs. Now, you've got your pages for each service that you've got. You can link back to them from your homepage. This basically adds an ease of use. So let's say you do have an accountant's page, you've got a taxation service, or let's say you are a law company and you provide, say, criminal law or conveyancing or something like that. A construction company that works on, for example, working on different types of roofing, like shingle roofing, for example. Let's say shingle roofing is one of your things that your company does. You've got a page dedicated to shingle roofing, a lot of information on it. You've got a section on that page you can have, for example, which links to all your blogs that you got specifically on that type of roof, that kind of roofing. So what you want to do is, from your homepage, when you've got your service and a little bit of information about that, you want to link that directly to your page so that it's easy to access. It needs to be attached in your menu under services so that people can get to it easily from the home page. This is really important, because it means that when your website's really easy to use, that way when these little crawlers come into your website, they are going to be able to say, hey, this website is optimized for people to go on it, it's really good, and someone's clearly put time and effort into it, which will increase its value. Now, when it comes down to it, very important, I use two different types of blogs. Now, a blog is where you write information on a specific subject, and basically you put that down on your website, and these are put down and they're called either blogs or posts. So what you want to do is you want to create a number of different blogs. Now, the two types of blogs that I use are blogs that are very informative. So I like to put a lot of information. Most of my customers come in from my big blogs, so the ones where I give a huge ream of information, and basically I'm talking about 4,000 to 8,000 words. I done one which is 17,000 words. That's a page one of Google for a very competitive search term, so I'm really proud of that one. But when you can hit page one of Google and you can kick the crap out of other companies, maybe it's worth putting a little bit of time and effort in, because you think to yourself, well, I could have 17 1,000 word blogs for that. It's like, yeah, you could have 17,000, you could have 17 1,000 word blogs, but the question is, are they going to rank? So when it comes down to it, you can write a huge amount of information on a topic, and it is very good to do that. And you can have like little headings, and you can get it so that people can travel through the blog and find everything that they need to in that blog. But that's the information blog. Have a lot of words in it. I mean, 2,000 words is a solid amount to have for that. If you're competing in a city, I'd say 4,000 to 5,000 words if you really want to be competitive. Don't use AI for it, do it yourself. It is much better, because search engines are fighting AI at the moment, because they're going to be replaced by AI. They actually look through and scour websites And I've done tests, enough tests to see that AI content is not going to rank nearly as well. So it's better that you go out of your way to create the content and put it there on the website. So you've got a big information blog. What do you have right at the end of it? You have your company name, your information, your local area. Really, really good. Now, you can also have what I call microblogs. Now, a microblog is, say, around 200 words. And this is not going to be good at getting people on your site. It's barely worth mentioning for that. However, these blogs are specifically designed so you can put them on like a post cycler and have them show up on your like your Facebook. So let's say you've got like 30 of those blogs. You can have 2 of them show up per week. And when you've got 2 of those showing up per week on Facebook on like a post cycler, I use Content Studio. So when you've got that process going, that's always going to bring people in from social every now and then. You get a tiny little trickle, they get a tiny little nugget of information, and it says, hey, I am this company at the bottom, we do this. So it can be really, really good to have those as well if you want that trickle from social media, which will also help you rank on Google. So the fact of the matter is, a little bit of time and effort will really, really help. Now, if I'm hired to do like a proper SEO job for a company, we're talking about a huge amount of time, effort, and energy, and this is something that you can put in as like a competitive business. However, very, very important to remember that if people don't know where your business is, or rather search engines don't know where your business is, then you are in trouble. So I'll give you an idea of a way to fix that. Now, at the bottom of some of the websites that I've worked on, at least the ones that pay me enough, I tend to create a section which is dedicated to services for local towns. So let's say you've got, I'll pick my local town, which is Colchester. Near Colchester, we've got like Alresford, we have Ardley, we have Wivenhoe, we've got Elmstead, we've got Brightlingsea. So, for example, let's say you're a candle shop owner, right? So you can have, for example, a page dedicated to delivery to Brightlingsea, delivery to Wivenhoe, delivery to this place. And this way, when people are looking for it, you've got all of these different pages, and at the bottom, you've got a little box which has got every single different location that you deliver to or that you provide services in. Let's say you're up in Suffolk and you've got all of these different towns around you. You want to focus on making sure that all of those towns are interlinked in that area, you at the center of it with most of the information saying I am from this place. However, you'll start showing up in these towns when people are looking for certain services, and they will come from what you believe is your catchment area to you. So your catchment area should generally be, let's say you're a small business, it should generally be about 5 to 10 miles, so it's not a lot of effort to put in, and you can put like a 15,000 is going to be good for you, but 1,500 should do. 1,500 on each of those different towns. Maybe even talk about, I've seen some SEO specialists who have been very, very good. They've put information on different attractions from towns. So the only problem is that this is not evergreen, and sometimes attractions can change. Like, for example, in Colchester we had Roller World. Now we don't have a Roller World in Colchester. However, Roller World is still up on a lot of people's SEO search area pages, and that is a problem because it's like, let's say you choose Colchester Castle. You can tell I live near Colchester, right? But if you've got something like Colchester Castle and that's there, that's not going to go. But it's really, really good to have a focus on like maintaining these pages if anything does change. However, it's much better to focus on what your business can do for people in this area, what we can do for you here, and that's really the end of the matter. If you're a restaurant, my recommendation is focus on the nearest 5 miles. I generally do restaurant marketing, and 5 mile radius is about as far as people will travel to get to a restaurant. The only time I've ever traveled further to get to a restaurant is if the restaurant is exceptionally good, and you know, there are a few restaurants that I would actually take people all the way down as far as Ilford for. There's some fantastic restaurants down there. However, you know, it's one of those things where you only do really what is going to benefit your company the most. Anyway, when it comes down to SEO, it's not something you should necessarily worry too much about if you haven't been doing it, because you can start it at any time. But the sooner you start it, the sooner you'll see results. Now, I'll give you an example. A little while back, I worked with a Chinese restaurant. And so what I did is I focused on writing little blogs about certain dishes, what their health benefits were. Now, I always focus on the health benefits because when it comes to food, there are always things that are negative. So, for example, you've got, for example, a lot of things like you've got palm oil, things like that, which is not necessarily good for people. So you don't want to include that in. However, you could, let's say you're dealing with an Indian restaurant, you can say, we use fresh coriander. Only say that if you do use fresh coriander, because I'll tell you something, there are some restaurants out there that keep telling me that they're using fresh ingredients, and when I go in there and I look at them and I look at what they're doing, they are not using the fresh ingredients, and that really, really grinds my gears, because I tell you something, when it comes to dried coriander, you you put dried coriander in food, useless. You put fresh coriander in, you use fresh ingredients, you show those ingredients, you tell people. Oh my god, restaurants really grind my gears. Sorry, getting sidetracked. But only tell people the truth when it comes to things, and the truth is always going to be a lie by omission, because what you're doing in every situation is there is always a cost to every benefit, no matter what it is, no matter how you're helping people. It's like at the moment, you may be getting a benefit from me, but the cost is your time, even though the video is free. So what I'm saying is that there's always a downside to every single coin that you've got. But I'm starting to ramble, sorry. When it comes down to it, you need to focus on providing as much context and in the most positive way to people to say, we can do all of these different things. So for example, if you are an accountant, or if you, let's say you run a counselling service and you've got information, hi, I do counselling in this area, here are the villages that are close by, you know, and you can sort of link that all out. The more internal linking you do, the better. But you can talk about different types of therapy, like you know, your psychotherapy, Gestalt therapy, crystals therapy. I've worked with people who do crystals. Crystals is a good healing technique. Kinesiology is fantastic. The thing is, all of these different techniques, you've got so much to write about. All of these different businesses, you've got so much to write about. And because you are the expert, that's why people will come to you. The thing is, you can actually teach, let's say you're a counsellor, you can teach everything that you're going to help someone with in a session, and they will still come to you because you are the expert and you are the person who can see through the wall that they will put up in front of themselves, because every human being has got a wall in front of themselves. You can probably tell I've worked with quite a few counsellors, maybe I've seen a couple as well, and psychotherapists and psychologists, and I managed to escape from the asylum. But anyway, still need my haloperidol. But anyway, the thing is, the more information that you put on your website about you, the services that you do, the better off you're going to be. And as much as you can do it, put in localizing information where you can. You can also get your blogs and you can connect them together. But at this point, I'm just rambling. When it comes down to it, SEO is absolutely vital. You should be doing it, and please do, because it is worth every second that you spend on it. The thing is, your company doesn't need to spend a load of money on advertising. You just need to spend a bit of your time on doing good SEO, get your site ranking, beat your competition, and you will be absolutely fine. Anyway, you have a lovely day. Take care. Bye.